What is up, guys? So today I wanted to talk about a little something different. It's about the Halo show. Before we start this, I want to give a big spoiler warning, I might say some spoilers, I'm going to try not to, but I am going to say a few spoilers. So I want to critique this show because, it's been getting a lot of hate and I want to give my view about it. So I'm going to be basing it off three things. 1, the story. 2, the lore accuracy. And 3, the action. Now, first, let's go over the story. I feel like this show has been how do I say, been Hollywoodized. That's not a word, but they've been doing it a lot lately. They get some of the most famous video game franchises and then it goes through Hollywood, they make it a movie or a show, and then it's not like how we'd want it to be. They don't really focus on the Covenant. It's mostly just dilemmas with people. There's a thing that Halo's been doing recently with the Halo games, 343 pretty much. And what they do is they pretty much keep trying to imply that humanity is the enemy, It's not so much the Covenant or any other enemy, it's just humans. And in the whole show, there's only 2 fights with the Covenant, if I remember correctly. Only 2 fights. Each episode is an hour long, 8 hours. And only 2 fights. Another problem with the show is that it focuses on this one other character, I can't remember her name, but she, for half of the show, it's about her. I would say maybe 40% if I'm being fair. And the other 60 is about Master Chief. It's no one really cares about this other character. We're watching the show because it's about Master Chief. And for some reason, they just decided to make it all about, or a giant part of the show, make it all about the girl. Not all of it, but some of it. And I feel like that's a very important thing why people don't like this show a lot. Because we want to know about the Chief, not her. Another problem with the story is that there's too much drama. In the video games, it's just humans versus Covenant and other enemies. But this one, like I said earlier, it's been Hollywoodized and it's just drama. I'm gonna try not to say too much spoilers, but Master Chief, there's this one on the last episode or on the last 2 episodes. Master Chief is falling for this one girl and the girl's falling for him. And it's that's not why we want to watch a Halo show. We want to watch a Halo show because of the action, which leads me to my next point. Overall, in my opinion, I thought the action was pretty good. Like I said, there was only 2 fights with the Covenant. I really didn't like that. There's this one scene where Master Chief, fights a brute chieftain, and it was really awesome. It had a lot of potential, and I got excited, and it's only for 6 seconds. And after those 6 seconds, they just go back to more drama. And it's dude, why do you keep trying to, you keep blue ballsing us? And it's we don't want this drama crap. We want action. There's I don't know, I think there's another fight with some rebels. Because that's a giant part of the story of Halo. There's rebels. I mean, I get it. I get the rebel fight because that is a part of the, lore. But it's not why we're watching the show. We're watching it because of the aliens and the the Covenant and all that. It's fine to put it there. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying more of the Covenant, please. There's this one cool part where you see the Warthog going, and then there's a Spartan behind the Warthog, and they're running as fast as the Warthog, and I thought that was really cool. It's little things like that. There was another part where Master Chief's shields recharge, and it does a little iconic sound. That's awesome. They talked about some grunts going when they're about to get killed, they get all crazy and scared and begging for their life, and they joked about it, which I thought was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool scene. But they don't show that. They just talk about it, and that's what I don't like. It could have probably been because they didn't have that much budget. I mean, I don't think they had a lot of money put into this show. I mean, it is a Halo show, so you would assume you would want to put a lot of money into it. I haven't really done my research on that.
Future legend here, disclaimer. I just looked up the funding for each episode. It was $10 million. That's actually a lot. But why does the show still look mid? I mean, I'm guessing all the money went to the looks of the aliens and the Spartans, I'm assuming. But it still looks like ass.
But it didn't look so bad. It was passable, The Covenant looked good. Cortana looked pretty good. I remember in the trailer, Cortana looked weird, but I don't know. It kind of grew on me. She didn't seem that bad. And finally, I want to go with the lore. Most of the show, 80% or 85%, Master Chief just keeps taking off his helmet. I get it. Like, I'm pretty sure the actor, wants to show his acting skills, that he can act, but you're doing a show about a character who has his helmet on for the whole time. He does take off his helmet. I'm not saying he doesn't, but you're not supposed to see his face. There's this one scene where he puts on his helmet, he goes on a Warthog drive, and then he just takes off his helmet. Like, why do you have to take off your helmet? I just don't understand, like, why in the show they kept taking off his helmet. And I feel like that's, like, a major part in the Halo franchise. The whole point is that, man, your curiosity, like, how does he look in there? They always give, like, little small scenes or, like, details of how he looks, but you're never supposed to see his face as an adult. They've showed him as a kid, but not as an adult. And, when you're gonna take up this role of a character who doesn't take off his helmet, you should know that you're not gonna take off your helmet and show your face. That's the job you signed up for, man. I don't know. I'm kind of going off on a rant and a tangent, whatever. But like, I read somewhere where like the guys who made this show, they didn't even play a video game or read a book about it. And you see, that's the problem because they're not informed of like the whole series and all that. Another problem is that Master Chief has too many emotions. I just feel like that's not Master Chief. I'm okay with Master Chief getting emotions, and I'm not. In the brand new Halo games that 343 has made, they've kind of tried to put this point that like Master Chief is getting emotional, which I kind of like, I won't even lie. But I could see why other people don't like it. It's like split of what people think about it. And I'm kind of on the both sides. I understand both sides because at one side, like, it does get boring. Master Chief just being a robot. Oh, yes, sir, blah, blah, blah. But in another part of me, I kind of go like, damn, it's kind of cool to see Master Chief finally, getting emotional. I don't know, that's just me. But on this show, he has like, they times it by 5. He has like, he takes off, again, spoiler alert, but he takes off an emotional chip pretty much that it suppresses his emotions. And in the show, he takes it off and he's just like, he has like anger issues. He's always like lashing out on people, screaming at people. He should be worrying about his anger problems, not just the Covenant. It just threw me off because there's this one scene where Cortana wants to introduce herself to his team, and he just lashes out on her. And it's like, when I saw that, I kind of cringed a little bit. I'm like, yo, like, why is he so angry, like, all the time? I don't understand. Like, that's not Chief. He's never, like, really angry. But, then again, it could be because he took off his emotional chip, whatever. I feel like that's the reason why they took off his emotional chip, so he can show off more of his acting experience or his acting talent, Like Chief with the chip, he always has his helmet on. He's a serious guy. But now without the chip, he has his helmet off all the time, and he's an emotional guy. So I just feel like that was like, an excuse so he can keep taking off his helmet and, showing his little acting abilities. Again, that's just a theory of mine. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying I just get like a hunch on that. Another problem was that there was a human with the Covenant. Now call me crazy and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's ever been a human with the Covenant. Again, I'm like a big Halo fan and I know like a good amount of lore, but I wouldn't say I'm like the best, but I know my stuff, and there was never a human with the Covenant. And in this show, there's actually a human with a high ranking in the Covenant. Now, I understand she was, like, vital in the story, whatever, but I just feel like they could have done something different with the story. A human with the Covenant really, like, it just doesn't seem right. The Covenant hate the humans. They want to, like, genocide all of them. The last thing they want to do is, have a human, especially as a high rank, or as a high-ranking person in their, Covenant. So, now to my conclusion of the show. To be honest, I think the show was ass, and I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I give the show a 6. Now, if it was let's say if it was a regular show that's kind of like Halo, about alien battles and whatever takes place in the future, I would give the show a 6.5, maybe even a 7, but the fact that this is a show that's about Halo and it didn't follow Halo, I have to give it a 6. One of my favorite YouTubers, his name is Actman, the Actman. He's really cool. You guys should check him out. He reviews games, and he actually just took out a video of the Halo show. At the time of this recording, he took it out yesterday, I think. he said something that, you know, it it just made so much sense. He said that this show is trying so hard not to be Halo, and I don't know, I just like the way he said it. It made so much sense. Also, a random thing, I don't know, this is just me, but I got like Game of Thrones vibes. Like, you know how Game of Thrones, they just like show asses? For some reason, this show showed Master Chief's ass, some other Spartan's ass, and then some bad guy's ass. Like they were naked, and then boom, ass shot. And it was just like, thanks, man. Thanks. I needed to know that. Yeah, I needed to know that to get this show. Thanks, man. Totally Halo like. Anyways, that's pretty much it. My next video, it's gonna come soon. It's about the state of Halo Infinite, the game. So I'll be talking about that next. You know, just like what have they updated on it? How's it doing? And pretty much, you know, talking crap about it, because that seems to be a fun trend nowadays, is to talk about how bad Halo Infinite is and how like the developers are not fixing the game. You would think with the amount of people Microsoft has, they can fix a game, and some of the problems are so easy. But you know, I'm already gonna start the rant. I'll save that for the next video. So yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to make this quick video because I really love Halo, and you know, I grew up with it. And these were just like my thoughts on it. I just made this video like in a few minutes, so if it's a little, you know, like disorganized, my bad. But yeah, I won't be making a lot of videos on it, but you know, I just want to do one video of like the status of the game. So I'll see you guys later.